Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends at yarnspirations.com. Today is the Cloudy Day Ripple Throw, and this particular pattern is kind of like a vintage pattern, and it consists of doing regular rows of chevrons, and then there's a granny square stitch that is involved here. There is a color strategy, so there's 6 rows of the solids that you'll see. So there's 2 of one color, like 2 rows of one, 2 of the next, 2 of the next. So you can decide to do that, and then it seems to be like all of the granny stuff is done with the variegated yarn. This is using Red Heart with Love yarn, and the recommended hook size is a 6mm size J crochet hook today. So I will be using Cairn 1-pound yarn on camera, as well as a 5mm size H. I'm going to take you through the sequence. The sequence is rows number 1 through 12, and then once we get that done, you're just going to repeat then rows number 3 through 12 6 more times, and then finish off the very end. So today we're going to get ourselves started going step by step. If you would like to change the pattern, it's in multiples of 15 plus 14. So this means that you'll go 15, 15, 15 if you're happy with the length or the width. Then you just add 14 chains. Now here's the thing, is that this thing is only 46 inches wide, and yet we're going to be chaining 149, and so for those that are familiar with crochet, you'll notice that's a very long chain, but because it's going in the up and down motion like this, the chain goes from a straight line like this to something that's a lot more narrow. Each one of the chevrons that you'll see is approximately about 4.5 inches in the width, and so that's how you're going to get that to be. So every multiple of 15 is about 4.5 inches for the size. So I'll leave that information with you, and you can decide to do whatever you want. So we're going to begin, and we're going to start right away, and let's begin. Let's start with a slip knot on the hook. You can either chain 149 or do the multiples of 15 plus 14. So, and I'll do a multiple with you on camera today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So there's one multiple of 15. So even though it's a straight line, it'll turn into a chevron, so it then becomes much more narrow in here. So it's about 4.5 inches. So you can go as many of those as you want to. So I'll do another one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So if I'm happy with the length of it, and you are too, you're just going to add 14 more chains to have the balance. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So either do 149 chains or do what I just did with the multiples of 15 plus 14. We're going to begin row number 1 next. Row number 1, second chain from the hook. So 1 and 2, come to the second one and just get the back hump of the chain because I think it looks nicer. And you are just going to single crochet in each one of the chains going all the way across. So we're not going to worry about going up and down. It will not be until row number 2 where we'll start the chevron shape. Okay, so go all the way across. I'll see you at the end. So coming all the way across, honestly, I really like how they make the first row just a nice easy one, so you don't have to worry about going up and down in the first row pass. We're going to turn our work, and let's do row number 2. If you're paying attention to the color, row number 1 was one color, row number 2 is a different color. So you will start with color E, and you can read that instruction on the pattern itself if you prefer. So we are going to start, and we are going to begin, and when we start, we're going to be starting going up into the peak, and then down, and then up and down, and so the other side will be coming down at the very end. It'll make sense in just a few moments. So we're going to start off, and it says to chain 2, and this will count as a double crochet. And you're going to skip the next 2 chain that are available to you. So skip the next 2. And then you are going to put 3 double crochet into the third one right here. So we're doing the granny square stitch immediately at this point. You're going to skip 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and go to the third. And in the third here, we're going to do a top peak. And in the top peak, there will be starting with 3 double crochet first. You're going to notice that the ups and downs are really quite short in length. So once the first 3 are in, you will chain 3 and put 3 more double crochet right into that same spot. And welcome to your first chevron peak. So I'm going to refer to these as the valley when I'm down here, and on the tops of the peaks, I'm going to call those the peaks. So peaks and valleys. So we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, go to the third, and just immediately put in 3 double crochet. So there's only ever one group of 3 by itself between the valley and the peak, to help you understand that. So now we're going to skip 2, and we're going to go to the third one, and we're going to apply a cluster. And so what we need to do for a cluster is that we yarn over, and we go into that stitch. So it's third one away, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and hold it. And you'll do that 2 more times. So yarn over, same stitch, going in, yarn over, pull through just the 2, and hold. 1 more time. So yarn over and in, pull through 2 and hold, and then pull through all 3 loops when you're done. And this is 1 cluster, just like that. So now we have to continue along. So 1 cluster is in. So then we are going to complete the next one. So we're going to skip 2, 1 and 2, and go to the third and cluster again. So we're forming the base of our valley. And once you see the 4 loops, you know you're done. So here is the base. So these clusters are going to kind of lean into each other, just like that. We're now going to skip 2 stitches, and we're going to go up the side of the valley here, and we're going to put in the third one away 3 double crochet. Okay, we skip 2, and in the third one away, we create the peak. So it'll be 3 double crochet to start. Chain 3 is the top of the peak, and in the same stitch, you're going to apply 3 double crochet. Okay, so there we go. So we have 1 peak here, we have another one just completed, and now we're going to go down. So to go down, like we did before, skip just 2, go to the third, 3 double crochet in that one. So this is the valley ridge, and dog hair is included in today's tutorial. I have 2 Great Pyrenees, if you don't know that. They're huge, and the dog's hair is crazy. So we're now going to create the base, just like we did here with the cluster. So we skip 2 and cluster into the third. Once you see the 4 loops, pull through everything, skip 2 and cluster third one away again. Okay, and now we skip 2 and put 3 double crochet in the next for the side valley wall. And this is all we're going to do, going all the way across. So we're just going up and down and creating the shape. Skip 2, and now this is the top of the peak, so it's 3 double crochet. chain 3, and 3 double crochet. So you're going to repeat that idea going all the way across, and you're going to be creating the ups and downs just like you see, and then eventually you'll come to the edge like I am now. So put me on pause if you're not ready, and if you are ready, continue it with me. So just skip 2 and put 3 double crochet in the next. So this is the side wall of the valley. And then you're going to skip the next 2, 1 and 2, and you're going to double crochet into the very last one. Okay, and so that would be what it would look like then going all the way across for row number 2. We're then going to turn our work and begin number 3. Rows number 3, 4, and 5 are all the same. At the end of number 5, the color will change. And so we're going to do the following. So to start row number 3, you're going to chain 2, and you are going to, that counts as a double crochet, and in this one right here, you are going to apply 3 double crochet. So just go and jump right over and put 3 double crochet right into the space in between the groups of 3 double crochet. It's the only way that you're going to keep the edge flat going up the side. So now we're at the peak now. You know what to do at the peak. It's 3 double crochet, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. Going down the valley ridge, jump to the next space, 3 double crochet, so that's the side wall of the valley. And then we're going to have some cluster work to do. So we want to focus the first cluster in between this 3 double crochet in this cluster, so right here, and then we're going to focus on this space after the 2 clusters. Okay. So we're going to cluster into the space before the first cluster. And then we jump to the space after the second cluster. So there's 1 cluster, there's 2, there's the space. That's where we're going to play. And now you're back to the side wall of the valley, so the next space is going to be 3 double crochet. Top peak is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. What makes a pattern popular is the ease of the memory of doing stuff up and down, but also keeping you interested in the project by just not being the same stitch over and over and over. It's got the ups and downs. So in the side valley wall, the next space is 3 double crochet. Okay, now you got your bottom again, so it's the space before the first cluster is going to get a cluster. And then it's the space after the second cluster. So there's 1 and 2. It's the space right here is going to get the second cluster to bring it together. And then you're going to go up the valley wall. So the next one is just 3 double crochet. So here at Nova Scotia, I live on the side of the ridge of a valley. That's why if you've ever seen our property, it's all on a hill. So top here is 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And you're going to repeat this going all the way across, and eventually you're going to hit the edge like I am next. And if you're not ready for that, just put me on pause. And if you are ready, let's continue and finish this to the edge. So coming down the final edge, the final wall, you're going to put in 3 double crochet into the first space. And then you're going to put in a double crochet into the turning chain right here. So not the top of the first double, right into the turning chain to keep it nice and equal. And a double crochet there, because this needs to be traveling up, straight on up. So what I need you to do is that let's talk about your instructions, and we'll be right back in a second. So I'm going to need you to repeat what you just learned 2 more times to complete rows number 4 and 5. And at the end of number 5, you're just going to change your color to the next color in the sequence. You'll find that in the pattern. It's on the 3rd column of the instruction, and you're just going to get that done. So off camera, I'm going to do rows number 4 and 5, and I'm not going to change the color. I'm just going to keep it going just to make it, because that's what I want. And I'll be back in just a moment after row number 5. I'm at the end of number 5, so you would change your color before moving on to number 6 if you want to see the pattern for the color sequence. So you'll notice that there was only 4 rows of the granny square stitch before switching over, and then there's going to be 6 rows of the solids. So in the next row, as we turn it, number 6, we need to get ourselves back to being solid like we were when we started, and we're going to be doing that next. So let's start number 6, chain 2, which will count as your first double crochet, and you're only going to skip the first 2 double crochets. So don't think about the spaces at this time, think about the tops of the double crochet, and remember that there was no chain 1 between the spaces, so it's just solid double crochet that you see. So skip the next one and the next one and go to the 3rd one away, and you are going to start double crocheting in that one, and you'll double crochet the other 3 that are left before you'll hit the top of a peak. Okay, so in the peak here, the chain 3, you're only going to put in 3 double crochet, and that's enough for it to do the turn to go back down to the valley wall on the other side. So now you're going to double crochet just the first 6 that you'll see. So starting in the first double crochet, and you'll just do 6 in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And before I get you too excited to see how easy this is going to be, the 2 clusters, you're just going to skip over them. They don't exist. And you start in the first double crochet going up the valley ridge, and then you'll do those 6 going up to the other side. So always skip the bottom cluster for this one when you're switching back, the bottom 2 clusters, and just start double crocheting up the valley wall. And there's only ever 6 stitches going up and down. It was just the very first side is always the difference, and the last side. So 6 stitches going up, and then the valley, the peak is going to be 3 double crochet. So how many stitches going down? It's 6. But what I would do for memory, you realize that this is 3 double crochet, this is 3, so you're just going to automatically skip the clusters going when you go down. So I wouldn't say that you necessarily have to count it, you just got to look at it. And so when you see the clusters coming up, just jump over them, leapfrog. So jump over the 2 clusters and start with the double crochet that goes up the valley wall on the other side. So how many stitches are going to be in the peak? If I heard 3, that's the right number. If I didn't, so 3 in the peak. So because it's the very end going down, you're only going to do the first 4. So if you're not ready for that, just put me on pause. And for those that are ready, it's just the first 4 going down only. And then you skip 2, leaving you with the turning chain, and that's where you're going to double crochet. And that will be how you convert back from doing the granny square stitch to a solid. So now we're going to turn our work and begin row number 7. So right where we're sitting now, this is considered one of 6, okay? And so we have a total of 6 rows of this. So the first 2 will be one color, which is rows number 6 and 7. The next 2 will be then rows number 8 and 9, which will be a different color, and then rows number 10 and 11 will be another color. So you have a total of 6 rows. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do row number 7, and then you can repeat that for the remaining of the rows, and then get that done, and we'll get that squared away. So to begin again, row number 7, just chain up 2. You're now going to skip just 1 double crochet and go to the second one, and you're going to do the 4 that will take you to the stitch before the valley, or before the peak. So skipping just 1 and double crocheting the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once you have that done, you're going to be in the stitch just before the peak. So there's always 3. Do you see that? So this is the peak one right here. And so there will be 3 double crochets into that particular stitch. And now we're going to go down, and it will be the next 6 in a row. And we're going to see where we land so we know where to look for in the future, so it's easier for you. So we're going to just do the 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this takes us to the stitch before the peak, or sorry, before the valley, and it says to skip 2 stitches. So we're going to skip these 2 and come up. So if you come on down, you're just going to miss the middle 2 and then start going up the other side. So skip those 2 and start doing the 6 that will take you back up to the top, and that will take you back to the stitch just before the peak. Okay, so we got our 6 in. So you should be on the stitch just before the peak, and the peak is right here, and there will be 3 double crochet there. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So how many stitches going down? That's right, it's going to be 6. So you'll just skip the 2 middle at the base. So 1. I wouldn't necessarily count it if it was me, but if you need to, by all means, you can do that. So if you know to skip the 2 middle ones that are at the valley there, you know that you're good. So 6 down, skip those 2 in the center there, and do the 6 going up. So we got the 6 going up, the middle one of the peak. That's right, it's going to be 3 double crochet. And now we're going to come down this side. So this side, we're only going to go down 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to skip the next double crochet, and you're going to double crochet into the turning chain, and that completed then row number 7. So you still have 4 more rows of this to do, just changing your colors. So this is considered one section, so this would be one color, the next 2 is another, and the next 2 is the 3rd color. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you're going to turn your work, and you're going to do those 4 rows, just what I just showed you, and I'll be back at the end of that. So please get that done, and I'll see you back here in a moment. I'm now at the end of the 11th row. So number 12 is going to be the final of a repeat sequence. So it says repeats 3 through 12. So in number 12, it's going to convert itself back to the granny square stitch. And then 3 rows after that, it's going to be the granny square stitch. So row number 12 is going to be that conversion over. So we're going to turn our work and begin row number 12. And you know what? It's very similar to how we started way down here. So let's begin number 12. So number 12, we're going to get ourselves back to granny square stitching. So we're going to chain 2, counts as your first double crochet, and you are going to skip 2 stitches. Okay, so you'll skip the 2, go to the 3rd, and put 3 double crochet in there. I love gray, by the way. I don't know how you feel about gray, but gray seems to be a color I love. Just goes with everything. So you'll skip 2 stitches, and you're in the top of the peak, and in the peak, let's put in our 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So to see if you remember how many stitches are we going to skip before we do the next group of 3. Did you say 2? So skipping 2, go to the 3rd and put in 3 double crochet. So this is the side of the wall of the valley. Skip 2 and cluster into the 3rd one away. And to help you understand this, the 2 middle are still empty. So we're going to cluster in this one. So we skip the next 2, which is the center 2, and cluster the 3rd one away. So now we're going to crawl up the valley wall again. So we're going to skip 2 and put 3 double crochet into the 3rd one away. And then skipping 2, you end up in the top of the valley, or the top of the peak. So skipping 2 and go to the top. So it's 3 double crochet. Chain 3 and 3 double crochet. And then you're going to crawl down the valley again. So how many stitches do you skip? You're going to skip 2 and go to the 3rd and do your 3 double crochet. And then you're going to skip another 2 and then put in a cluster, skipping 2, and that will take you to the stitch before the valleys there. So first cluster is in, skip the 2, which is the 2 middle, and cluster in the 3rd one away. Skipping 2, 1 and 2, put 3 double crochet in the next. Skipping 2, go to the top peak, and 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. So you'll do this all the way across, and then when you're ready for the finale of the row. Sorry, I'm having a lot of issues with my hands. I think I need surgery. So, okay, so what we have is that you're going to skip 2 and you're going to go into the 3rd one away. And then at the end of this one here, you're just going to put a double crochet into the top of the turning chain. Okay, and so therefore you would have that done. So now you've just converted yourself back to this granny square stitch. So you'll do this stitch then now 3 more times. To go across, you can go back in the video description to see the video chapters to take you back to row number 3. So you'll do 3 through 12, a total of 6 more times, and then you need to do rows number 3 more times after that's done, and then you're going to be left with the final. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the next 3 rows of this done so I can show you the final edge of this side, and then we still have a border to worry about as well. So please do that, and I'll be back in a moment. So I've now just finished. So I repeated rows number 3, 4, and 5. So then 6 would then be the conversion back to the solids. So when you look at it from this perspective, the first part of the blanket will be granny. It'll then rotate between this stitch and this, but eventually the very final will look like this to bring it in balance. We're not quite done though. We still have our last row to do to make it look similar to how we started way over here, and we're going to begin the last row next. So if you're not ready for that, just come on back to me another time and we will finish up this together. To finish up this, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to place a single crochet right in the top of the turning chain. We're going to skip 2 stitches next and go to the 3rd, and you're going to single crochet that one plus the 3 left that are still here, the double crochet. In the peak here, there's going to be a total of 3 single crochet. Coming down, I bet you know the answer, it's 6. So we're just going to skip over the 2 clusters that are in the middle, but starting in the first one, going down, will be a single crochet in the first 6. But if you can identify those clusters, you won't have to count. Okay, so we're going to skip this cluster in this one and go immediately over here and single crochet the 6 going back up to the peak. Okay, then the peak, 3 single crochet, and then how many stitches going down? Did you say it didn't matter because you're just going to skip the clusters? I bet somebody did. You can let me know in the comments. So 6 going down, jump over your clusters, and then 6 going back up to the peak. And you'll do this all the way across. There's still a final border to put on this thing. I don't know if it really needs it, but we'll do it anyway because that's what it says. And in the peaks, of course, 3 single crochet. And then when you come down on the very last edge, if you're not ready, put me on pause. But if you are ready, you are going to just do the first 4 only. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skip over the 2 next double crochet and single crochet into the turning chain. And it says do not fasten off because you're going to go right to the border, but if you don't want to do border, this is where you'll finish off. You'll weave in your ends and you'll have a great day. For those that would like to continue to the border, that's next. So right now we're currently here and we just need to turn the blanket sideways, and we're going to work down the side first, go along the bottom and then up the other side, and then finish off coming back over here. So to start this right where you are going to put 2 single crochets right into the edge of each row. So just go right to these edges that you'll see and put 2 single crochets in each. So just where it's open, you can see it. How hard's that, eh? I was kind of dreading it, but now that I see it, like, I don't know why it was. So you're just going to come right into the edge. And then even if it's a solid, you still have an edge. You can still see it, and there's going to be 2 single crochets in those too. So I'm coming right to the last edge here. So there's only 2. And now we're going to come right into a very corner here. So just make sure it's not twisting in a weird way. There it is. So in the very corner, the first stitch here, you were going to place in 3 single crochet to do the turn. And now you're just going to go down, the up and down, just like you already pretty much know. So to do that, then you are going to skip, we're going to single crochet in the next 4. Okay, so we got theirs. So we're just going to single crochet in the next 4, and then we are going to jump over. So what I'm doing is that I'm looking for the base here to see if I'm in the right position. So I'm going to skip over the 2 middle that are here. So I just need to go down for 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So I'm going to start here and put 4 going down. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to skip the next 2, 1 and 2, and then just do the 6 going back up to the other side. You can always fake it if something is not feeling right for you. Just fake it if it's a problem. Now, because I had you go into the back loop only, you're going to see nice even stitches on this. So there's 6 going up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. And then this is the 6. So in the next one is the peak. So there's going to be 3 single crochet in that one. So 1, 2, 3. And then coming on down, okay, starting in the next one. So there's going to be 6 going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you're going to skip over the next 2, 1 and 2, and do 6 going up to the next peak. So you'll do that all the way across the bottom here. So 1, 4, 5, and 6, 3 into the peak, and then 6 going down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, skipping the 2, and then in the last it's just 4 going up. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and into the corner 1 it's going to be 3 single crochet. Okay, so now you just turn, and now you're going to go up this opposite side. So what I need you to do is that we're just going to continue to go and put 2 single crochet into each one of the side pieces, or the side of each row. Now I was going to say, well, repeat what you just learned on the base here and do it on the other side, but the other ones, the valleys are in the different position. Because if you look at it, see, it's indentated here, but it's also, it's not here. So it's indentated here, but peaked there. But honestly, it's not a big deal. So then in the corner here, because the turn is not as great, it's only going to be 2 single crochets into the same one, and then you will chain 1, and then you're going to work your way up to the peak of this. I'll be right back in a second. So you're just going to single crochet the next 4. So Daniel's looking for something. And then the next one is the peak. It's the middle one, you can actually see it. And there's going to be 3 single crochet there. And then you're going to come down the opposite side. So there's going to be 6 going down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skipping just 2 is the middle 2, and then put 6 going up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 going up. Peak again, 3 single crochet. It's almost lunchtime here. So 1, so 6 going down, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Skip the 2 middles, going up 6 the other side. And we're almost done this, at least for my swatch sample. So 3 in the peak. And then you're just going to come down the opposite side here. So we have 1, 2, there's only going to be 4. So 3 and 4. So skip the next one and just slip stitch into the first. And that would be the conclusion then to do something like this. So if I just zoom you out here. So that's what it would look like. Nice and easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you'll have your grannies on both borders. You'll have a border going around, and you'll have all the solids that are in between all the grannies along the way. We hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye-bye.